Let's go and add some pores detail on our neck of the character, also on the head here, and every part here that we have not added skin details yet, also on the ears. Okay, now for the neck area, the type of details that we're going to add, the first thing that we're going to add are going to be the stubbles, skin stubbles. If you guys go to google.com, go to images, you guys could search for face stubble alpha ZBrush, and maybe you guys could find some free ones online. Try to get a good quality stubble alpha. And if you can't find one, then go to surfacemimic.com, and this one is you have to pay for it. And it's one of those really nice websites that offer you more, that gives you a more professional scope because of the type of texture that they have here. It will make your stuff look much better. Okay, so this is the one that I'm going to be using for the stubble. Okay, so you guys could do the search here, type in stubble, and you could find it. And you do have to pay for it. Okay, and now back on ZBrush. Okay, you're going to have to export out the zip folder, and then you're going to have to import the file here. So you can go to alpha, import, and I'm going to be using the PSD file that's included. It's going to be the stubble right here. And what we're going to be doing is we need to adjust the radial fade, okay? Because right now, if we use a standard brush and then we go to drag rectangle, and let's go ahead and create a new layer here. Okay, and if we just click and drag, we see those harsh rectangular shape, and we don't want to see that there. So undo that. Okay, we're gonna go to alpha, and let's adjust the radial fade here so that the edges become softer. Okay, so maybe 18. Okay, and we could try again. Okay, so we don't see those rectangular, those squarish shape anymore. And let's go ahead and name our layer here. Call it neck stubble. Now for the neck stubble, we could just use the drag rectangle, and with that alpha, you could have the intensity of about 23. Hold the Alt key as you click and drag, so that will really give you that stubble on the neck. Okay, if you don't hold the Alt key and you just click and drag, you're pushing it in. So this is how it's going to look like. So I do want those protruded dots on the neck there. And yeah, I'm gonna actually increase the intensity to about 25. Again, and click and drag. And for this one, I'm going to turn on the symmetry, and then we can just go ahead and click and drag. And right here where the middle is, I turn off the symmetry for the middle part, so I don't get a weird like pattern on it. And also here. And then turning on symmetry again to bring that back and add those stubbles that we need. And we probably do not need, now on the X, I turn off the symmetry in the middle here, so like that. If we turn on solo, you see how the cloth is covering the neck, so we don't, a little bit of the neck's being covered by the cloth, so we don't need the neck stubbles on the lower part of the neck. just to save us time. Okay, double check again. Okay, so this is just to see which part of the neck that we will need to cover. Okay, good. Add some more here. Yeah, so just adding this on the neck. And making sure that some parts, if you see that I am making them a little bigger and some are a little smaller, and it's okay to do that because we can't stress enough how variety in sculpt is important. Okay, and gonna click and drag and rotate. There's a little bit of issue there, but it's okay. That could be fixed later. Could just use the move brush later to move that. So just going around the neck area. Spotting the areas of the neck that we need to show love to. Click and drag, click and drag. And here and here. And as we get here, right in the middle of the neck, I turn off symmetry modifier. And see how it looks. Okay. Around this area, the back of the head could be a different type of pores. Okay, so I think that's what we have now. I think this area for the neck is good. The next thing that we could do is we could add a different type of alpha, more of a directional alpha, to give it more of a realistic look, and it will break up the conformity of the stubbles here. So let's go ahead and just turn off the record button, and let's create a new layer. And for this one, you could call it neck directional. So this is going to be for our directional alpha. And for that one, I've used, let me show you, I used one of the skin patches. So one of these skin patches will do, any of these, okay, would work just to break up the shape of the stubble. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and import it. So one of the patches, probably this one, or I think I'll do which patch? I think I have patch 3, and let's see, which patch do I have? So we are just going to be using, what I'm going to use, I'm just going to go to import, and I'm going to use the skin patch 02 that I have here. There you go. So that's how it's looking like. And we're going to just adjust the radial fade once again. Okay. Just make sure that you are on the neck directional layer and turn on the record button. And let's go ahead and do a test on one of the surfaces here. What's one of the surfaces? Okay, Control Z to undo. Hold the Alt key, click and drag. Okay, so this is the type of look that we want, but just less intense. So I'm just gonna bring down the intensity to about 15. Okay, something like that. And we could adjust the intensity later if we need to, since we have a layer that we're working with. Okay, so click and drag. Just give it a little breakup. This could be a little bit tricky, but since this requires you to kind of rotate and to kind of have you make sure that it's following the form of the neck, the flow of the neck. Basically, you want it to kind of go in this direction. And why is my pen so thick? Yeah, you just gonna want to have it flow with the neck direction there. Oops, undo. And here, you gotta rotate it. This one I'm gonna turn off symmetry. This could be a little bit, yeah, requires precision really. This part of the area of the neck where we have to make sure the directions properly placed. Okay, that, and back on the side here. Good, click and drag. So how you see how it's really giving it a nice breakup look to it. And right now it does look a little bit intense, so we definitely gotta bring down the intensity of this for our layer. Go. Yeah, this could be a bit tricky because you gotta rotate them properly. Gotta rotate them so that they are shaping, conforming to the neck direction. And here also. Here. At the back it starts to kind of fade out. And yeah, that's fine. At the back it starts to really fade out here. Okay, and now we could probably add a little bit, yeah, so turning on symmetry, you could use a little bit here. Okay, now we could go ahead and adjust the intensity for our neck direction. Is a little too much, so I'm gonna bring it down to maybe 0.3. Oh nope, 0.3. See here, 0.6. Okay, so you want to look at it from far away too, make sure it's still showing. Okay, let's see how it looks with the okay, that's fine. And what we could do now is we could add, let's go to online here, neck details. You look some reference list. So of course we could add some of the details here. Neck. Neck pores. So yeah, as I was saying, we could add the lines that we need. Okay, those are the extra details that we could implement. So just around this area, as we could see, we don't need that much at the bottom part of the neck because they are covered up by the clothing. And let's go and create a new layer for the extra line details that we're going to add on the neck. I'm going to call it necklines. And for this one, just go back to dots and you could use maybe alpha 13. And we could bring down the intensity to about 5. And let's see, I think we could crank it up to 8. Nope. Bring down the brush size, so not too much where you can't see the lines anymore. And I'm gonna turn off the intensity, turn off the symmetry for this. So at this moment here, I don't even have symmetry turned on. I don't have symmetry turned on at all. I think we could find a better alpha, maybe alpha 43. Yeah, I actually like this. It's a little bit softer on the edges, or maybe alpha 36. Okay. Yeah, I like the softer edge. I'm gonna go ahead and just delete this layer and create a new one. This one, yeah, I'm just gonna call it necklines again. So yeah, sometimes you just gotta mess around with the right alpha brush to work with. Always good to have some reference to go by. So these are very just subtle. subtle. The lines on her neck are very subtle. Okay, so neck lines. And here, turn off the symmetry. Yeah, just adding these extra wrinkles would really make your skull pop out a bit more. And I'm bringing out the intensity a bit. Well, some parts could be a little bit deeper, but still want it to be still a little subtle. Okay, that part looks a little strange. Let me just undo that. And bring down the intensity. So some parts could be pressed in a little bit deeper, some are a little bit more subtle. So this is what's going to give that realistic feel to it. And even around this area, we could add a little bit on the ears later. We could add some more of these extra subtle lines. Okay, so that's what we have for the neck. Now we could do the rest of the head and also the ears. Let's create a new layer. You could call this one, well, other pores, which is going to be for the rest of the top of the head and on the ears. And we're going to be still using the standard brush, symmetry turned on. And for this one, we could turn on color spray, and we could use Alpha 07. And intensity, we really gotta bring down the intensity for this one. Maybe 5 would do. And let's check it out. Do a little test here. Okay, let's see. Yep, that's it. And let's see how it looks like with the Alt key. With the Alt key, you get a little bit of more the bumpy look. You press down Alt. If you just paint without the Alt key, you see how it's pressed down the geometry. So you want to have a little variety like that. Sometimes hold the Alt key, sometimes do not hold the Alt key, and you get more variance for the skin pores. And would be a good time to also fill the spots on the face that are missing any pores on the skin. This is a really nice tool. Brush Alpha color spray. Easy way to create skin details. Yep, so just lay it out, lay it all out, those details. Yeah, I actually like doing this. It's pretty much just, it's like dropping a bunch of wrinkles on a bunch of, just dropping a bunch of pores right on the character's skin with minimal effort. It's like just making it rain, you know? Raining pores. Fast way to add skin details. And I don't know about you, but yeah, I always like to do the easy things, you know? I mean, no doubt I like to do the hard stuff too, because that's what allows us artists to grow, you know? If we challenge ourselves, get out of our comfort zone and do the hard stuff. But sometimes, you know, I never met an artist that do not admit that they actually get lazy sometimes. We're normal human beings. Sometimes we want to take the easy ways, the lazy way, what some people would call it. But hey, if it's gonna give us the results that we want, why not do it, right? Why not use it? This is actually, procrastination has its strengths. Being lazy, being laid back, it does have strengths, and it has its weaknesses. Weaknesses, sometimes it takes a lot to get you up and moving, and takes a lot to motivate you to get stuff done if you're too much of a laid back person. But the good thing about it is, if somebody gives you a critique or a feedback about your work, or somebody just butchered your work and becomes verbally abusive with your work, probably not verbally abusive, but in your eyes it was verbally abusive, because, you know, it's your art and it's your baby. So somebody say something about it, you don't take it too personally, you know? That's the good thing about being a laid back person. Somebody give you a bad review about your work, you don't cry or bitch about it. You actually more of a carefree person when you're a laid back person, and instead of bitching about it, you actually start to think about it, and maybe the person is right, maybe I could do better, and maybe I need to make some changes with my artwork, with my life, with the way I do things. Yeah, I think for every weakness that we have, there's some strength to it. Okay, so we got our details on the neck and also on the head. Let's see. Okay, let's not forget some areas here. Turn off solo. And here's a little bit more. And now I'm turning off symmetry, so I have a little bit more different types of flow of pores on the skin. And I think this is all good now. We could revisit more of our details here and maybe add a little bit more lines around the folds of the skin just for extra details. And we're gonna be doing that in the next video, just doing a little bit more touch-ups and maybe create some more asymmetrical forms for our character. Okay, I'll see you then.